Bray Wyatt's WWE return update. Cody Rhodes sends out an update regarding his future. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns and 4 other WWE stars advertised for WrestleMania 39. WWE references Sasha Banks in surprising post. Karrion Kross challenges Bray Wyatt. Let's jump right into our first story. Cody Rhodes sends out an update regarding his future. Cody Rhodes is currently recovering from an injury that he suffered before this year's Hell in a Cell Premium Live event. The American Nightmare suffered a torn pectoral muscle but refused to withdraw from his clash against Seth Rollins at the show. He eventually ended up winning the bout in what turned out to be an instant classic. Amid his recovery, Rhodes took to Twitter to send out a tweet without context. He wrote, "What's next?" wrote Rhodes. Rhodes returned to WWE earlier this year. The star has been unbeaten in the company ever since his transition from AEW. The former TNT champion defeated Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38 before securing another win over the former Universal Champion at WrestleMania Backlash. Rhodes completed the whitewash by going 3 minutes 0 up over Rollins at Hell in a Cell. Cody Rhodes has been highly active outside of WWE. Despite his current injury, the WWE superstar was present at the ESPY Awards earlier this year after winning the WWE Moment of the Year award for his return to the grandest stage of them. He was also recently invited to Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti's wedding. Taking to her official Instagram handle, Conti shared a wedding day photo of herself and Guevara alongside their former colleague. In a recent Q&A session on Instagram, the AEW star was asked whether Rhodes was invited to the wedding and replied with the image. Tony Khan and other top stars from the company were also present at Sammy and Tay's wedding. Rhodes' last match in AEW was against the Spanish God himself. The two men crossed paths in a ladder match, and Guevara won the TNT Championship. It now remains to be seen when Rhodes will be returning to in-ring action and what plans WWE have in store for him now that Triple H is in charge of the creative team. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns and 4 other WWE stars advertised for WrestleMania 39. 6 WWE superstars are currently advertised to be a part of next year's WrestleMania 39, which includes Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. WWE's biggest event of the calendar, WrestleMania, will take place in California next year on April 1st and 2nd. The company has dubbed it as WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. The show will be the first WrestleMania without Vince McMahon at the helm of affairs since the former CEO retired from the company last month. The company's website is currently advertising 6 superstars for the show of shows, which includes Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Bobby Lashley. The 6 advertised superstars are some of the biggest names in WWE at the moment, but as expected, the card is subject to change in the future. It is widely expected that Roman Reigns, the current undisputed world champion, will face his fellow Anoa'i family member, The Rock, at the show of shows. Recent reports have stated that those plans are reportedly still in place for the clash between the 2 icons of the company. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey could finally have their one-on-one match, and that will also likely happen at WrestleMania 39, as reported by Dave Meltzer. The best I can tell is that the plan is for Ronda and Becky for the 2023 WrestleMania. So, it's not like that match isn't happening. Of course, between now and then, people can get hurt. A million things can happen between now and 2023. But that's basically the deal, said Meltzer. The only time Lynch and Rousey met each other was at WrestleMania 35 in 2019. When they were in a triple threat match which also included Charlotte Flair. What are the potential matches that we could see at WrestleMania 39? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. WWE references Sasha Banks in surprising post. Sasha Banks hasn't appeared on WWE television since May, but the company could have just shared a huge hint regarding her return destination. WWE UK recently tweeted out an image of Mandy Rose from this week's episode of NXT with the caption "Resting Boss Face." If the term wasn't capitalized, then perhaps it could have been overlooked, but it appears that the page could be teasing something here. Sasha Banks was a huge star on the NXT brand for several years and is a former NXT Women's Champion. The boss is a term that she has used to refer to herself throughout her career, and the company is aware that it is a term that can only relate to one female wrestler. Mandy Rose has been dominating the NXT brand since her move down to 2.0 and has been able to overcome every female that has stepped up to challenge. It could be time for Rose to be handed a much tougher challenge in the form of one of the most popular female wrestlers in the history of the brand. Toxic Attraction and Mandy Rose were overlooked for the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament, which could hint that there is a much bigger plan in place for the women of NXT. Banks and Naomi are also reportedly in talks to make their return, and since the main roster has moved forward without them, it would be interesting to see if the 2 women make their return to WWE in order to challenge Toxic Attraction. As of writing, it's unclear when or where Banks and Naomi will be making their return, but reports suggest that there is now a plan in place. Would you like to see Sasha Banks and Naomi return on NXT? Have your say in the comments section below. Karrion Kross challenges Bray Wyatt. As per Karrion Kross' latest Instagram story, he is interested in a mixed tag team match with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. Karrion Kross along with his partner Scarlett Bordeaux recently made a surprising return on the latest edition of WWE SmackDown. Kross launched a brutal beatdown on former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and sent a warning to Roman Reigns. Ever since his return to WWE, Kross has been hyping himself up via his Instagram stories. His latest story hints that he is interested in a mixed tag team match at Hell in a Cell against former WWE star Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, with Scarlett by his side. In 2020, Bray Wyatt targeted Alexa Bliss on WWE SmackDown and the duo formed an alliance soon after. As part of the 2020 WWE Draft, the two popular superstars moved to Raw. Shortly after, they kicked off a feud with none other than Bray's former rival, Randy Orton. Orton defeated Wyatt in a table, ladders, and chairs match on December 20th. Here's what the Viper had to say about the feud. "I think rolling with the punches is something I realized more recently than not, that if I just accept that I'm out of control on some of these situations, and I'm talking about the business right now, if I just take what they give me and do it to the best of my ability. Like I was doing stuff with the Fiend a year ago and it was hard. Some of it was rough. It put me in the burn mask one week and then the next week I'm out of it and my skin healed. It's tough." The months-long feud culminated at WrestleMania 37 where Bliss turned on Wyatt and Orton picked up a big win over him. Bray Wyatt was released by WWE in July last year, but a return to the company isn't out of the question now that Triple H holds significant creative power. If Wyatt ends up making a WWE return, would you be interested in this mixed tag team match? Let us know in the comments section below. Bray Wyatt's WWE return update. The latest update on Bray Wyatt's possible WWE return is bound to leave his fans excited. Bray Wyatt was released by WWE in July 2021. He was one of the most popular superstars in the company and his release was a massive surprise to the WWE universe. Following Vince McMahon's retirement, Triple H is now the head of creative for WWE. Ever since the game took the helm, fans have been hopeful about a possible Wyatt return. As per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, some WWE higher-ups are of the belief that the company is bound to bring Wyatt back. Judging by Sean Ross Sapp's tweet, Fightful Select will have more details on Wyatt tomorrow. Wyndham Rotunda is a former WWE champion as well as a two-time Universal champion. He did incredibly well in WWE when he donned the Bray Wyatt character and competed against some of the biggest superstars in the company. Sapp's tweet about Wyatt's possible return garnered several interesting comments from fans on Twitter. Wyatt had himself spoken about a possible return to the ring during WrestleMania weekend earlier this year. Here's what he had to say. "I will always love wrestling. I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life without stepping in the ring again and hearing that roar again. I think about it often. Everything has to be in place though. Like I said, timing is everything." Wyatt also shared an update on his health. "I have never been more healthy both physically and mentally. I have been able to challenge myself with projects that would have never been possible before. This is a happy time for me, but I have to be patient. Timing is everything," Wyatt wrote. Now with Triple H holding a major creative pull, it certainly won't be a surprise if Wyatt makes a big return to WWE in the near future. Would you like to see Wyatt make his way back to WWE? Let us know in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes